Welcome back, Year 9, to our second lesson for this week. What we're going to go through today is one of the final ways that we need to talk about how people generate an income. And what we're going to talk about today is piecework and royalties. Those two things are very similar to each other in how they work. And then the final part we're going to talk about is commission as well. So let's jump on into it. Starting off with piecework. Piecework is where someone gets paid based on how many of something that they do. It's a per item thing. For example, someone who's a fruit picker, they might get paid per basket of fruit that they pick from a trees, or someone who has a lawn mowing business, they'll get paid per lawn that they mow. So if your way of earning your income, it's generated by doing X amount of things, that's what we'll call piecework. For every item that you do, you get paid based on that. Alright guys, royalties. Royalties are very similar to piecework, and it's in the fact that people get paid based on something that they produce or something that they make. Most commonly, royalties are paid to people like musicians, people like authors, even some actors are paid royalties. How often that TV show, that music, that book gets sold, published, played, those actors get a slice of the income. A good example there would be Robert Downey Jr., also known as Tony Stark, Iron Man in the Avengers and Marvel universe. Every time those movies get played on a free-to-air television network or via Foxtel or something like that, every time that they are played, every time a DVD is sold of those, Robert Downey Jr. gets a bit of that money going towards him as well. Alright, so royalties, very similar to piecework, but it's more towards people who create things rather than pack or pick fruit, for example. Alright guys, and now commission. Commission is the final way we're going to talk about earning an income, and it's based on how the value or how much did I sell of something. So not how many items, but how much did I sell it for. Usually this is done as a percentage of your total sales. And these would be people like real estate agents, car salespeople, anyone that's kind of got that sales rep kind of vibe where they have their whole job is based on selling you something. But if we think about that, let's think about a real estate agent. They might sell $1 million property, or in today's market, a $2-3 million property, and they might get a really good pay packet out of that. They might get $50,000-$60,000 as a way out their example for selling that property, which is pretty good. But they're not selling a $2 million, a $3 million property every week. They might sell one, maybe every couple months. So what have they got to do? How else are they going to earn an income in the meantime? So usually what happens is sometimes they receive a small regular payment, and that regular payment is called a retainer. So they might get a small weekly, fortnightly, monthly bit of pay, and they'll get that all the time. And then on top of that, if they sell that $3 million property, then they'll get a commission on top of that. Alright guys, so here's our example for piecework. So in this one here, again getting my highlighter out, there's a lot of reading for these kind of questions. Josh is paid 45 cents for each shirt folded. 45 cents for each. That's that giveaway that it's a piecework job because he's getting paid per item. Last week, he processed or folded and boxed 1,440 shirts. How much did he earn? Well, same what we're going to do. Left hand side, I want to know what am I finding. We are finding Josh's earnings or his income or his pay, whatever you want, just let me know what it is. And his earnings are going to be 45 cents. So 45 cents is $0.45 multiplied by, or how many shirts did he fold and box. And when we evaluate that on our calculator, we're going to figure out that Josh, for that week, earned $648. Remembering his pay is directly tied to how many shirts he folds and boxes. Alright, now our royalty example. A songwriter earns 38 cents every time their song is played on the radio. If the song is played 488 times, how much did they earn? Well, again, let's highlight 38 cents every time it gets played, and it was played 488 times. Notice the wording of this question is very similar to piecework. The only thing that makes it different from piecework is this is because someone created this song. They didn't make it every single time or fold it, for argument's sake. So, same thing on the left. Tell me what you're finding. We're finding the earnings, and the earnings is going to be 38 cents multiplied by how often did this song get played. And when we get our calculator out and we evaluate that, this songwriter, from that one song being played during that week, has earned $185.44, and that would be just from potentially one radio station. Imagine if there's 3, 4, 5 radio stations playing that same song 488 times. Alright guys, moving on. Alright, so on the left hand side we always want to write down what we're finding out. We're finding out Debbie's earnings, and her earnings are just going to be $1,875 times 5%, or 5 over 100. And when you get your calculator out and evaluate that, what we'll come up with is that for that week with those sales, Debbie has earned $93.75. And when we look at that, that's not very much way of earning much money. And remember how we talked about that idea of a retainer? Debbie would be a wonderful example of someone where a retainer getting paid a fixed amount of money all the time, plus the little bit extra she sells, would be very beneficial to her. So let's go on to example 4. Alright, so in example 4 here, we have a car salesman, and that car salesman earns a commission of 4% of all sales, and then here's something new, and a retainer of $1,280 per month. Okay? If she sells $187,500 worth of cars, that's a very good month for a car salesperson. So sells $187,500 worth of cars, how much does she earn? Okay, so just scrolling that up a little bit. Earnings. Well, to start off with, the first thing I'm going to do is I know this car salesperson earns that retainer. So they earn $1,280 in that month. No matter what, if they sell 0 cars, they get $1,280. That's the point of the retainer. And then on top of that, added to that, there's the commission. So $187,500 times 4%. Right? And again, when we get our calculators out and evaluate that, we'll come up with the value of $8,780. So this car salesperson has got $8,780. Alright guys, so what you need to do for the rest of this lesson, you need to go down below on this worksheet, complete the questions, making sure you mark from the answers that are also found on this worksheet. If you get a question wrong, go back and correct the working. Make sure you understand why it was wrong. If you've done all that and there is some time up your sleeve, please go ahead and do the 10 quick questions, and they will be below the question sheet. And as always, mark them. Once you're finished, take a photo of your working, upload it to Canvas, and upload it by Friday, 10th of September by 3 p.m. Alright, take it easy.